And welcome viewers, friends, foes, and neutrals to the Daily Space Weather Show Saturday Night Edition. We'll be featuring the most detailed imagery you'll find of the closest star and the most comprehensive space weather in the known universe. Here at the Smash News Network, the supposed name of news, and we'll be picking up the pace tonight. Picking up the pace in space. 24-hour videos there from SDO. Massive coronal hole here rotating through. Expect the high-speed wind from that coming in a day or two. Here's a closer view of that, the equatorial zoom. As we're seeing the mop-up following some geomagnetic storm activity. A lot of large filaments on the Earth-facing portion of the solar disk. There's a good example of one towering one setting in the northwest, becoming a prominence. I think we might have even featured that one yesterday. And next we'll look at sunspots. And we've seen a decline in sunspots since yesterday as more sunspots set than formed or rose. That is December 1st and December 2nd to date. And there is our colorized magnetogram for the same time frame. Next, a little bit of quick house cleaning. If you enjoy the content and you want additional content, become a member of the Smash Team at smashomash.com/Smash Team. What can I say? We launched our custom subscription services site back in October of 2021. We sent out email alerts today about tsunami warnings. They came at a bad time. However, we still got the alerts out. It wasn't a big miss. The tsunamis that occurred were minor. The following are paid endorsements. Hemp Lucid is one of them. If you're doing some shopping at hemplucid.com, make sure you enter the promo code SMASHOMASH10. Yes, SMASHOMASH10. It'll save you as many percent on checkout. SMASHOMASH10 on checkout to save at hemplucid.com. 10% is what you'll save on your CBDs, mushroom gummies, stacks, body balms, and more. Today's featured product on the Amazon shop is cocoa. Yeah, that's a 5-pound bag of cocoa there for $30, and it's organic, no less. That's probably about 20 times less expensive than what you would pay in the grocery store for non-organic cocoa. Amazon.com/shop/SmashoMash is the official Amazon storefront of the Smash News Network, the supposed name of news. Save a bundle, get some bulk cocoa, and let us know if you're making some homemade chocolates with our Anthony's Organic Cocoa Powder. 5 pounds for $31 from the Amazon shop. Visit the links at the homepage to visit our paid affiliates and sponsors. Thanks to everybody who has, thanks to the Smash Team at smashomash.com/Smash Team, the gold, the silver, and even the bronze level Smash Team members. These videos are brought to you in part by gold and silver Smash Team members. Also, don't forget to check out our merch line. You can save up to 60%, folks. Up to 60% savings on the custom Smasho merch. Today's featured product is Universum Liberate, the motto of the Galactic Federation Special Forces. If I could wave my magic wand, I'd set everybody free. Maybe that's too reckless for you. Maybe it's too reckless to talk in Latin, as people will think you're a member of the Illuminati. Convince them that you are with our Universum Liberate, the Special Forces of the Galactic Federation's motto. Also, if you haven't checked out our Ask a Physicist segment, it now airs on Fridays. So make sure you submit it by Wednesday, and your question might be the one we pose to a particle physicist. And the best place to post questions is on Smasho Forum, smashomash.com/forum. And somebody put another Ask a Physicist thread in the Cosmology Forum when it should actually be down here in General Science. We may have to move your post there at Manhotep. Anyway, if you go to the General Science Forum where the actual thread is, click on Ask a Particle Physicist segment, and if you submit a question, we might even select it. Again, it'll air on Friday on the Daily Space Weather content. Ask a Particle Physicist. The monotone from Minsk, Eugene Bagashov, answering your questions. And don't forget to subscribe to his channel, Eugene the Philosopher. Lots of videos about science and lots more. So check it out, Eugene the Philosopher. Congrats to Eugene for making it over 500 subscribers on YouTube. Don't forget to press subscribe if you enjoy the content on this channel. Don't forget to check out our playlists. If you think we only do space weather and meteorology, we do lots more than that, so check out the other content. All kinds of different stuff in our playlists. And if you haven't seen our shorts, maybe scope those out. Thanks to our new subscribers over on YouTube. And let's get back to the Daily Space Weather Show. Starting out in Iceland. Here's what the skies look like to the north of Reykjavik. And that is some kind of a searchlight, folks. That is not some kind of crazy blue aurora. Next, we're going to do volcanoes. By the way, the Reykjanes Peninsula is not erupting yet. Erta Ale in Ethiopia. Look at the surreal hellscape there in Ethiopia. Just awesome. Some very watery-looking lava there flowing around. Just coming out of fissures in the ground there. And let's see what else is erupting. First of all, Etna. No ash cloud produced there, but it is still erupting. Klyuchevskoye produced a 17,000-foot ash plume, flight level 170 over Kamchatka. 10,000-foot ash plume over Abiko. 7,000-foot ash plume over Luatolo. Krakatoa producing a 3,000-foot plume of volcanic ash. Please do not pole vault the daughter of Krakatoa. Popocatépetl exploding in central Mexico, flight level 200. It's a 20,000-foot ash plume. Not too shabby. Fuego in Guatemala, no volcanic ash observed. Don't assume it's not erupting. Nevado del Ruiz exploding, flight level 210. Sangay exploding, flight level 210. Revenador exploding, flight level 150. That's a 15,000-foot ash plume, 18,000-foot ash plume over Sabancaya in Peru. And there is the effusive activity of Erta Ale. And let's get to earthquakes, as we had one major one, a 7.6. One of only 5 throughout the year. That's the year-to-date of earthquake activity from, once again, volcanodiscovery.com. So that's the year-to-date. We saw 2023's 5th quake of a 7.6 or larger magnitude. There are the past 90 days, and here is that quake occurring northeast of Davao City, Philippines. There is the location of that. There were some tsunamis produced. They were only about 1 foot in height, which can be significant, of course, but no major disasters from that. So it's been a quite active 24 hours here. As far as earthquakes, there is a long list of 5 and greater magnitudes like this 5.5 in Bangladesh to kick off the list at 3:35 this morning. Then Solomon Islands had a 5.1. Then South Sandwich Islands had a 5.0. And then 34 minutes later, Indonesia had a 5.2. And then Chile had a 5.8. And then the Isle of Guadeloupe had a 5.2 magnitude quake. Chile had a 5.1. That's a lot of quakes. Northern Mariana Islands had a 5.1. Then Indonesia had a 5.5. That was right after noontime Universal Time. Next, Macquarie Island had a 5.5 at the Antarctic Australian plate boundary. And then pretty much out of nowhere, bam! Or you could say wham, a 5.6 at Mindanao, Philippines. That was at 2:14 Universal Time, and then lots and lots of aftershocks for hours and hours, including even a 6.4 aftershock. And so no surprise there, lots and lots and lots of quakes. 6.2, 5.4, 5.0, 5.3, 5.2, 5.1, 5.3, 5.4, 6.0. So that's a pretty shaky portion of the planet. And it is still shaken there at Philippines. And let's head back to space. Here are the past 24 hours from SDO, 171 angstroms, the house favorite wavelength. We create these videos so you don't have to. And there is the equatorial zoom. A bunch of active regions setting up there in the northwest, and no new spots rising or forming to replace them. Maybe one new active region there in the southeast, but it doesn't look very active. Looks like sunspot number is going to drop once again going into tomorrow. I guess that's a bit of a forecast anyway. Moving on to our stats, the 10.7 centimeter radio flux now down to 148 solar flux units, dropping below 150, and that needs to be updated. That is the 1 year graph. Radio flux is the black line, red line is sunspot number. Space Weather Enthusiast dashboard here showing expectations of more geomagnetic storm activity tomorrow night into Monday morning. So tomorrow around midday universal time, another geomagnetic storm expected. From a coronal hole impact, we are also expecting overnight tomorrow night. I'm sorry, that's Monday night into Tuesday, but tomorrow night into Monday we're expecting an impact as well. So don't be surprised to see a minor perturbation. Probably not to get higher than a KP5, but we could see geomagnetic unrest or mild G1 geomagnetic storm activity on Sunday evening into Monday morning. After that, a coronal hole high-speed stream likely to show up. And let's talk aurora. Yeah, we had some aurora for sure. And one of my former colleagues was actually in Iceland to witness some. So here you go. Here's a quick little view. Some aurora from last night in Iceland, including some quite well-defined curtains, multiple different colors. Good stuff. And that was shared on Instagram. Next, Earth's magnetic moment from space for the past 4 hours, and things are equalizing here. We still do have a high-pressure plasma environment, but the inputs have been shrinking. So the solar wind has calmed down quite a bit. The ionosphere has followed suit. That's the past 4 hours of Earth's magnetic moment from space. Things are geomagnetically calm once again. Earth's magnetic moment from the ground also calm. And we're going to let that play through. We don't edit the videos, folks, so sometimes it'll refresh. This gets the videos onto your screen as quickly as possible without editing them. The past 4 hours of Earth's magnetic moment from the ground, nanotesla magnetic flux density. Like I said, geomagnetically calm KP 1.33. Aurora a lot less likely than last night. And the ACE isn't returning very good data at all. Let's just skip the ACE entirely and go to the Discover. Current solar wind is about 7.5 protons per cubic centimeter. That's the solar wind density. Solar wind velocity here, 418 kilometers per second. Again, geomagnetically calm conditions. GOES magnetometers have smoothed back out. Much more normal ranges there for both the GOES 16 and GOES 18. And next, the top view ecliptic plane field plot. Whoopsie, there we go. So Earth is moving toward the end of this South Pole sector. It looks like perhaps by tomorrow, I would say by Monday, Earth will be in a North Pole-oriented sector shown there in green. There you go. There's the latest. So keep in mind that can change rather rapidly. And here's our line of sight field plot. Solar B field in blue, polar fields in green for north, red for south, and the photosphere magnetism in grayscale. That shows you a lot of info in one small little tidbit. Also our line of sight ecliptic plane field plot. and coronal holes. So here are coronal holes. And we've got North Pole coronal holes rotating in here in the east and south. South Pole coronal holes here more oriented in the northern hemisphere. And here's the view from SDO. Here's another 24-hour video for you. And again, like we've been saying for months, you can expect coronal hole intensification to continue over the coming year or so as we approach solar maximum, which is expected to arrive sometime around September of 2024. There is the equatorial zoom, great view of that well-defined coronal hole system. And that could produce some extended high-speed coronal hole winds. And let's move on to sunspots. So sunspot number here has dipped down toward 100 once again. It looks like it's now at around, what's that, 103 maybe, something like that. 103 is a sunspot number from Rob. There is the flare probability monitor and scoreboard. Once again, just like in yesterday and the day before's videos, most likely place to see a large solar flare remains right around that western limb. So that is the place for a flare watch to remain in effect, especially until 3500 is well out of view. Sunspot 3500 is the one that produced the large solar flare, the one associated with the major solar storm that we just saw pass. And before we get to that, let's go to sunspots. Here's SDO. Here we've put together the SDO continuum plus the 131 angstroms wavelength to highlight the active regions. So again, a dip in sunspots for the past couple of days here. And let's get to energetic particles and solar flares. Right where we left off. So there's the proton flux, no spikes, no relativistic particles for a long, long time, actually. X-ray flux here now dropping back into a B class. So we're now down to like a B9 background flux. So there's the 7-day, just to give you an idea. We did see this little uptick here, culminating in this M9.8 class event. Since then, it's been dropping down. Here comes some great wavelengths to view flares, 94 and 131 angstroms. We show them most days on the channel. That's another 24-hour video from Solar Dynamics Observatory, and let's look at some more calm stuff. There you go. There is a star chart. That's what's going on overhead Lehigh Valley. Make your own star chart if you like. Put in your location. Click now. And you may have some gas giants if it is nighttime in your part of the planet. Next solar system forecast. That is things now. That is things in 1 week. We'll have a crescent waning moon on the 9th. And here's our astronomy photo of the day. This is an observatory in Beijing, China. And you can actually see the celestial equator on this image. You can see these stars in the southern portion of the image. They are curved this way, those star paths. And then you can see right in here, they're almost straight. That's the celestial equator. And then up here, they're curved this way. That's the north celestial field. And yeah, that is the astronomy photo of the day. And yes, stars having differently curved paths is one of the ways you prove that Earth is spherical. apod.nasa.gov for the astronomy photo of the day. Next, coronal mass ejections. We put the video in sections to make it coherent. And hopefully we're not giving any cultists any erections. But that is what's going on. We do have a sun-diving comet down here, right in here, right in the, right there. There it goes. And unfortunately, we have no images from George Mason University for today. But don't worry, we have plenty of coronagraphs for you. So let's zoom in a little bit closer on LASCO C2 and C3. There you go. There's a little better view. And we are looking to see if we do have any additional Earth-directed CMEs here. Late in the day, you'll see this sun-diving comet showing up. That was late in the day yesterday, by the way. Oh, those are going to be on our custom video, but not on this one. All right. There's a sun-diving comet. And it looks like it has indeed evaporated. So some minor CME activity in the past 24 hours. Nothing major. We'll also look at stereo A. Here we've put the raw coronagraph imagery on the left, difference imagery on the right. We'll let that play through. Again, CME activity has been quite minor in the past 24 hours here. December 2nd, not super exciting. One significant CME there out of the east-northeast. Besides that, not a lot to cover there for CMEs. Here come custom coronagraphs. Oh, first this awesome close-up. I almost forgot. That is our TMOS, the most active sunspot. Anyway, here come our custom coronagraphs, and you will get a good view of that sun-diving comet there. And it looks like that one's not going to be coming back for another orbit. So a few CMEs there. We do not anticipate those to be earthly directed based on the available data. They are off to their respective directions. The one out of the west looks like it's off to the west-southwest. The one in the east looks like it's off to the east. Not earthly directed. Here we've zoomed in one step, dropped the LASCO C3, and added 304 angstroms to the SDO. And yeah, just some great imagery there. Again, another CME expected to arrive tomorrow evening. It will be a minor impact. So getting to filaments, there you go. There are filaments. The 193 plus 304 angstroms wavelengths are fantastic at showing great depth. And great at showing those plasma filaments. So let's get to our Cerro Tololo. There's Cerro Tololo, Chile. And yeah, just like yesterday, that's like a dozen large plasma filaments there, littering the Earth-facing portion of El Sol. We've been naming them after living people, and there are several that I've got on my list to name. Man, oh man, look at that. Cerro Tololo, Chile is one of the good ones. They've got clear skies up there. It is in the Atacama Desert, after all, I think. So, geez, yeah, that is a lot of filaments, especially in the northern hemisphere, but also several in the south. If you want to name filaments after living people, join us over on Twitter. Twitter.com/SmashoMash. Thanks to our new followers over there. Twitter.com/SmashoMash. Just follow the hashtag #NameThatFilament. And you too can name filaments after your friends, your foes, or even yourself. Before we get to bonus features, here are the last about 3 hours from the GOES 18 SUVI, the ionized helium wavelength, 304 angstroms. And here come bonus features. Let's blast through them. Charging hazards. Charging hazards ain't a thing. We don't have any charging hazards. No high energy or low energy electrons affecting satellites. Electron flux here kind of low. Expect it to come up in the coming 24 hours. For now, quite low. There is the 1 year graph, and you'll notice that this did dip exactly as we forecasted. And there is the forecast almost exactly where we said it would be yesterday. So there it is. There's a forecast for you. Cheers. And yeah, NOAA's forecasting for it to be, it's probably going to be up here next time it comes in. But all right. That's, cheers. Next, we'll show the ionosphere. And this is the F-flare. Feel free to pause the video in this frame if you're not familiar with those distances in kilometers. And here is the F-flare. So you'll see a lot less low-frequency anomalies here as the video plays on. That's the ionosphere returning back to normal conditions. It takes half a day and a half, something like that, depending on the intensity of the geomagnetic storm. And if that's all Greek to you, don't worry. We'll show the anomalygram next. So this is anomaly in megahertz from a 30-day median. You'll see a lot of red at the beginning, and then in the second half, a lot less red. That is the ionosphere getting back towards static equilibrium after those significant inputs from solar high-speed plasma. So that's what's going on at about 300 kilometers of altitude, the bridge between Earth and space. There's 2300 universal time for the ionogram, 2300 universal time for the anomalygram. Here's the WAM, the whole atmosphere model. That should help all of you GPS and radio users out there, perhaps. The Global Ionosphere Nowcast. I like it, so we picked it up. One of our latest new features for the Daily Space Weather Show. We'll also show total electron content alone, which is free electrons up to about 12,500 miles of altitude, literally a count of them. There is the total electron content forecast. And it looks really jacked up. I think this data is erroneous. I don't know what's going on with it. It does not look like it's right. It's not really believable. Let's take a look at the anomaly from the North America. Nope. None of the North American views are going to load, so let's move on to our final space weather segment, the latest intensitygram and latest magnetogram. So I don't see anything too exciting going on there. I don't think that's a sunspot. And let's move into meteorology. We're going to start out by looking at sea surface temperatures and surface winds. So there you go. There are sea surface temperatures and surface winds of the North Atlantic. Surface winds are depicted by the animation. Sea surface temperatures are depicted by the coloration. So there you go. There's the full Atlantic view. There's the Arctic. There's the Southern Ocean. The Indian Ocean. And there is the Pacific. Moving on to regularly scheduled meteorology, there are the surface winds of the east, jet streams of Europe, Africa, and the Middle East, surface winds of the west, and the jet streams. And there is an anticyclone there south of Cuba. Check it out, an upper level high right there. Significant clockwise rotation. An upper level high pressure zone. Here is the clouds and fog data set in shortwave radiation, 3.9 micrometers infrared radiation. And we'll look in a little bit closer here around Florida. It's where the strongest storms have been for the past few hours. Some storms rapidly showing up there over the state of Florida. There was some intense lightning when we did show prep. We'll see how that's fared. Next, our precipitation type map. And we've got snow falling in large portions. Also some rain, some wintry mix, some wet snow. And some rain with snow. I guess that's wintry mix. Also a little bit of some spots of ice there. A little bit of freezing rain in Maine. Hopefully not on the plain. Anyway, here's our weather.gov map. We'll show you the key. There is the key. If your location is lit up on the map, weather.gov is where to get your weather warnings. Those are 2 minutes to cover in the video. And here comes some forecasts. First, the GFS 72-hour. Pressure and precipitation. Major precipitation coming to Northern California, Oregon, and Washington especially. So check out this next map. The total accumulated precipitation in inches for the next 72 hours. The same model, the GFS, and look at those areas. Expecting 6 inches of rain in large portions of Washington, Oregon, and Northern California. Dag! That is moist. Some of that's going to be falling in the form of snow. So there is our accumulated positive snow depth change forecast in inches. New England has got some incoming in the next 3 days. Also the Rockies and the Pacific Northwest. Last but not least, temperature anomaly. A bit of warm temperatures coming to the east. And then warm temperatures coming to Montana. Montana can expect to see some temperatures 20 degrees Celsius above normal there. That's a temperature anomaly forecast in degrees Celsius for the GFS model. Lightning's next. There you can see lightning making its way across the northeastern Gulf states. And here is our real-time lightning map, courtesy of lightningmaps.org. And it looks like things have calmed down there. That thunderstorm ended. Still some strikes there along the coast, but a lot less than just half an hour ago. So there's our global lightning map there. Very low levels of lightning here, only about 32 strikes per minute. That's quite a low level of lightning. Here's our U.S. Doppler radar map. We'll show the full 50-state view. We'll briefly zoom in at this point of most storminess. And that system probably getting broken up from wind shear as the winds accelerate, as those bits of moisture make their way over the Atlantic. Anyway, there's the lower 48 view. There is clouds and fog. And water vapor. A lot of moisture from the Pacific making its way into the Northwest. There is your recap, vertical motion of the air column, clouds and fog, 3.9 micrometer infrared radiation, and the water vapor map. And here's me closing out and thanking you for tuning in. Congratulations on realizing the channel exists. I've been your host, Dan, a.k.a. Smash-O-Mash, signing off. And may that solar wind be at your back. Whoa.